Hello, baseball fans. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we are back with game number 3 in our 1908 Chicago White Sox replay. And game 3 of the season, we have yet to see Big Ed Walsh, who won 40 games that year, make a start for the White Sox. And he will not be starting in this one either, as the White Sox welcome Rube Waddell and the St. Louis Browns to town. Now, St. Louis came in 4th in the 1908 American League pennant race. Actually, 5 games behind third place Chicago. And Browns probably had their best team in 1908 up until 1922. So they were perennial cellar dwellers, but they actually had a pretty good lineup this year that includes some accomplished veterans such as Waddell, Bobby Wallace, Hall of Fame shortstop, Hobie Ferris, Danny Hoffman, and George Stone, among others. So we'll get going. The White Sox sitting at 1-0, a win yesterday versus Detroit, and a tie game versus the same Tiger team to open the season due to darkness. And we will see how it fares today. This game played on 4/17/1908. In real life was a 1-0 victory for the Browns behind a one-hitter for Rube Waddell. And he was one of the preeminent strikeout pitchers of the early period, him and Walter Johnson, the two most prolific. You can see he has a lot of potential K opportunities on his card for regular outs. So we'll see how the Sox batters hold up against the Rube, who this was probably his last, well, it was his last season of any note. It was basically a rapid downfall after this season. Connie Mack let him go to the Browns prior to the season just because he really couldn't tolerate him anymore. And St. Louis figured they would get what they could out of Waddell, which for this season was a 19-14 record and a 1.89 ERA. And he'll be opposing 6-7 Frank Owen, who had a 3.41 ERA, so that does not bode well for the Sox in this one. The lineups for today, first of all, for the Browns, leading off in right field, Danny Hoffman, Charlie Jones in center, George Stone in left, Jimmy Williams at second, Bobby Wallace at short, Hobie Ferris at the hot corner, Tom Jones, not the singer, at first, Tubby Spencer behind the dish, and of course the Rube on the hill. For the White Sox, pretty much the same lineup they've trotted out the first 2 games of the season. Ed Hahn in right, Fielder Jones in center, Patsy Doherty in left, Freddie Perrant at short, Jake Atz at second, Jiggs Donahue at first, Lee Tannehill at third. Behind the dish is Billy Sullivan and, of course, Frank Owen on the mound. So we are going to get going. Hoffman ready to lead off against Frank Owen, and we are underway. So it's going to be in column number 3, and that is going to be a result of 33 in column 3, and that is going to be a line out center field. So 1 down for the Brownies, Charlie Jones batter. And going to the defensive column, going to be a 6 on the batter's card, and this will be shortstop. And for the White Sox, that's a 3. Infield at regular depth, back I should say. 9 is going to be a ground out, and that will go 6-3 on the put out there, 2 down. Left-handed hitting George Stone steps in against Owen, looking to get a 2-out rally going to column 1. And it is going to be a total of 8, and that will be a pop out to third base. So 3 up, 3 down go the Brownies, and the White Sox face the formidable left-hander Rube Waddell, who when he was on, and that was the big question, would he be on, was probably the best pitcher in the major leagues during the time he was in his prime. So column 3 to start it for Ed Hahn and the Sox, and that is going to be 72. So 72 in column 3 going way down, and that is going to be a drive into the gap into right center field, and Hahn He's wheeling. He's going around second, coming into third. And here comes the throw in from Hoffman. Slides. He is safe. A leadoff triple. So Ed Hahn gets to Waddell, who hung a curveball there, drives that into the gap, and the White Sox are in business. Column 3 again. And it's going to be 69 plus 2, 71 in column 3. And that's going to be a pop out to first base. So 1 out. Runner still at third base for Patsy Doherty. Lefty-lefty matchup. And it's going to be a 57 and a left-hander. 59 in column 3 once again. And that is going to be a potential rare play. So this will be either a rare play or a bouncer back to the pitcher. So here we go, and even. And once again, rare play. So pitcher is to roll higher than the runner's speed, and he is out if that's the case. And Doherty is a 5, and he is out. Runners are going to advance, so Hahn comes in with the first run of the game. 1-3 on the putout, 1 RBI, and Sox jump out to a 1-0 lead against Waddell. And that might be all they get in this game if he gets his stuff together here. So it's going to be a 43 in column 3. We've stayed there this entire inning, it seems like. Line drive towards left field versus left-handed pitcher. That's going to be a single. So that would have gotten in the run. And the Sox already have doubled their hit total in real life in this game, as Waddell shaky here in the first inning and 6s across the board. That's going to be a 61 in column 6, and 61 going to be a double. Runners advance 2 bases, 2 outs, runner a +3 speed, scores from first, a speed greater than 3, and that is not the case with Perrant. He is one of the slower players on the Sox, so he's going to have to hold up at second base, and Waddell, spending the entire inning in column 3, is reeling right now. Second, third, 2 outs, 1 run already in. Jiggs Donahue at the plate. And that's going to be a 5-2 for both. 34 in column 5 and 34 in column 5. Struck him out. So Waddell goes with a heater, but he gives up 3 hits in a run. Could have been much worse, as runners are stranded on second, third, and the Sox give Frank Owen a 1-0 lead heading into the top of the second here. And Jimmy Williams up, and that is going to be a 6 in column 1. Struck him out. So Frank Owen pitching above his actual performance, at least at this stage of the game. And 6-3 is going to be 31 plus 4, 35 in column 6, and that's going to be a short fly to left field. So coming in to take that is Doherty, 2 down, and Hobie Ferris, the batter. And again to column 5, and this is going to be a 29, and 29 fly out to center. So Waddell struggles, and Frank Owen is looking like the Hall of Famer right now. 1-0 Sox heading into the bottom of the second inning. Lee Tannehill facing Waddell and taking it to column 6, and that is going to be a 17. And 17 drives that deep into left field, but the park will hold as George Stone makes the catch. 1 away. Billy Sullivan, the catcher, up. And this is going to be a defensive check on the shortstop, and it's 19 on Sullivan, plus 2, 21 in column 4. Infield is back, and that's going to be a single off the shortstop's glove. So Waddell, trying desperately not to come unraveled. Possibly there's some fire trucks outside the stadium distracting him. Back to column 3. And 57 plus 1, 58 in column 3. And that is going to be another potential rare play. We've had those come up a few times, and finally we get one. So going to the 1908 specific rare playbook. right here, and there is a runner on first and one out. And a roll of one, and that is going to be a wild pitch. Runner takes second on wild pitch. Takes a, oops, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Takes a big turn, drawing a throw from the catcher. Roll one die against the catcher's D rating. If it is not higher, the runner is caught off base. If the die is higher, the catcher's throw sails into center field, and he's going to go to third. So for the Brownies, defensive rating of 4 for Tubby Spencer. And it goes into center field. So E2 and over to third. Goes Billy Sullivan. So wild pitch and an E2. And Waddell's defense not doing any favors. Frank Owen still at the dish. And this is going to be a 55. And that usually, well, that could potentially not be good. 56 in column 2. And that's going to be a looping drive, and that will go to right field. And if the fielder's defense is higher than the raised number on the card, which is a 1, he's going to make the play. And can of corn out there for Danny Hoffman. However, that is going to be, that should get a run in. Runners on second, third advance if speed is greater than outfielder's arm. So right fielder is a 4, and on third base is a 4, so he will actually have to stay put. So clutch catch out in right field by Danny Hoffman, and back to the top of the order. 2 down, runner on third. Waddell trying to get out of the inning, staunch the bleeding, if you will. And 55, we're going to go to the ballpark chart, and that will affect, of course, the raised number. 55 and a 5 will make that a 57. 57 in column 2, and that is going to be a 1, so that is a new raised number. 57, a looping drive to the outfield and again into right field. And the new raised number is going to be a 1. So again, a fine catch out there by Hoffman. And he gets the Browns out of the inning. So 1 hit, no runs, 1 left on third. We're heading to the third. And our score, 1-0 Sox, as Tom Jones faces Frank Owen. And going into column 2. That is going to be a total of 19 in column 2, and 19 will be a fly out center field, 1 down. And I just need to adjust the score sheet here. I somehow skipped a batter on the score sheet. Tubby Spencer, the catcher, up now. And going to the power column, that's going to be a 36. Make that a 40 in column 6. And 40 in column 6 struck him out. Frank Owen sends Tubby Spencer back to the bench cursing. 2 down, Rube Waddell, the batter. And again, the second day in a row, a White Sox pitcher has started out red hot. Column 5, and Waddell, that's going to be a 20 plus 2. 22 in column 5, and that is going to be a walk. Runners advance if forced. Check column M of the action chart. So Waddell, probably not the guy that you want to steal, but that's what's going to happen here. So column M of the action chart, we're going to roll 2 die. And red and white die comes up to 10, and that is going to be a potential pass ball. And for our catcher, pass ball rating for the Sox is 4. And blue die is less than that, so no pass ball. So Waddell stays put at first, back to the top of the order. And already we've had more extra checks come up in this game than we did the entire last game against the Tigers. So, which is cool about, I'm getting to like this. It's a lot of variety just depending on how the dice go, and it makes sense though too. So 5 and 5, and that is going to be a total of 17 in column 5, and 17 is going to be an infield single, runners advance 1 base. And again, we are going to go to the M chart. So Brown's getting something going now. And the M chart, and that is going to be a 2. And attempted pickoff is blue die higher than the pitcher's hold rating. Runner gets back safely. If not higher, runner is picked off, and blue die is higher than the hold rating. So scampering back into first is Danny Hoffman. First and second, 2 down. Charlie Jones, a batter for the Browns, and it's going to be a fielding result. 4 will be the Browns shortstop, or the White Sox shortstop. That is a 3, total of 8 in column 4. And 2 down, the infield is back, and that is going to be a ground ball. So 6-3 put out there, and the Browns get a couple of base runners, get their first hit of the game, but strand 2, we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning, 1-0 White Sox. Fielder Jones, batter. Stepping in, preparing to face Waddell. And going to column 1, and that's going to be a strikeout. Waddell with a high heat, blows it right by Jones. And he seems to be getting back into his groove here. We'll see how long that holds up. Patsy Doherty, column 1 again, and that's going to be an 11. And 11 is going to be a single up the middle. Runners advance 1, no runners on. So this is going to be a steal now, Doherty. This is going against the catcher's defense number. So for the Browns, that is a 4. So on this, he's going to be caught stealing on 4 or less. He tries to go, and successful stolen base. So Patsy Doherty, his first steal of the year. And that brings up Freddie Perrott. Runner in scoring position, 1 down, Waddell. Column 2, and that's going to be a 17 in column 2. 17 is going to be a strikeout with bases empty or fly out to center field with men on base. And Waddell does not have the K there, so that will stand, and runner holds, 2 down. Jake Atz, the Chicago second baseman, steps in. Off to a good start. He only appeared in 83 games throughout the year, so he will eventually be supplanted as the regular starter as this replay goes on. But for now, he is the man, and that is going to be a total of 17 in column 2. And 17, that's going to be another fly out center. So a potential 2 strikeout opportunities there that Waddell missed because there were runners on base, but we are through 3 innings, 1-0, Sox in the lead. George Stone set to lead off against Frank Owen, and that is going to be a 60 in column 6. And 60 in column 6, a single to left field. So the Browns getting things going a little bit now. And Jimmy Williams, a batter, and they're going to try a hit and run. And again, playing small ball. So Waddell's hit and run result is going to be a 2, and for Williams, it's going to be a 22, and that's going to be a grounder to second base. And blue die is a 4. And blue die is higher than the second base's fielding rating. So runner is going to be forced. So fielder's choice for Williams. And 4-6 on the put out. 1 down. Bobby Wallace, shortstop up, hit .253 in 1908. And going to column 5. And column 5, that's going to be a total of 3, and it's a grounder to second base. And infield is halfway. So going to be another fielder's choice. 4-6 on that put out, 2 outs, and Hobie Ferris manning the hot corner today for the Browns. And going into column 1, and that is going to be a total of 7 in column 1, and that's going to be a pop out to second base, inning over. So Browns get their second hit, but Frank Owen steps up, shuts him down. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning, Jiggs Donahue leads it off for the Sox. And Waddell, column 4, going to be a fielding check with the shortstop, who is a 2, and 6 is a 3. So total of 5 in column 4, and that's going to be a grounder, 6-3 on the putout, 1 down. Third baseman Lee Tannehill up now. Going into column 5, and that is going to be a total of 4 in column 5, and grounder to shortstop. So second straight 6-3 put out. Billy Sullivan the batter. Waddell looking to get through his first inning, 3 up, 3 down, and going back to column 3, which hurt him early in the game. It doesn't look like it's going to happen this time though. Total of 3 in column 3, and dribbler to the catcher. Picks it up, fires down to first base, and Jones with a stretch. 3 down, so 3 up, 3 down for the Rube, and we are through 4, 1-0. Sox still in the lead. Tom Jones now leading it off for the Browns as we enter the 5th inning. And Frank Owen, we'll have a fun fact about Waddell on the 7th inning stretch. There is a plethora of fun facts about the Rube. So Frank Owen facing Tom Jones and column 2. And that is going to be a total of 54. And ground out, second to first base. So Atz over to Donahue on that, 1 down. Tubby Spencer, the catcher, up. And as indicated by his name, he is not very speedy. Going to go to the power column, column 6, and that is going to be a grand total of 33 in column 6, and pops him up. Circling back into the outfield, into short center field goes Atz, pulls it in, and there are 2 quick outs. As Rube Waddell steps up, Waddell shaky early, seems to have settled down. And column 1 here, and that is going to be a total of 6, and ring him up, Johnny. Waddell struck out so many in his time, he gets fanned on 4 pitches as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, and White Sox 1-0 lead. Frank Owen, the pitcher, set to lead it off against Waddell. And column 1, and that's going to be a strikeout. Waddell, a little chafed, comes out and blows him away. 3 straight pitches. A bender got him. Looking foolish way out in front of that. 1 down. Ed Hahn, the batter. And column 2 we go. A total of 4, and that's going to be another strikeout. Waddell cranks up the heater on that one. Freezes Hahn. Catches the inside corner. Curses at the umpire. Heads back to the dugout. Fielder Jones, the batter. And it's going to be a total of 32 in column 6. Pops him up and into foul territory around third base. Goes Hobie Ferris, gloves it, and 3 up, 3 down again. So Waddell, he's settled down here. We're through 5 and still 1-0. The White Sox clinging to a slim lead in this one. And top of the order for the Brownies, Danny Hoffman up. Oh, I'm going to column 2, and that is going to be a total of 54 in column 2. 54 is going to be a ground out. 4-3 on the put out there, 1 down. George Stone, the batter, or Charlie Jones, the batter. And column 5, and a result of 32. Make that 33 in column 5, and that is going to be a strikeout. So Frank Owen, he's got his K-ball working too. That is going to be strikeout number 4 for him in this one. Waddell currently sitting at 4 as well as George Stone steps up. And the power column, 35 is going to be the result in column 6, and short fly out to left field. So another 3 up, 3 down inning. And that makes a total of 9 in a row set down by Owen as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 1-0. Sox clinging to a lead and trying to get some insurance against the extremely skilled Rube Waddell on the mound for the Browns. Column 5, and that is going to be a 5 plus 3. So 8 in column 5, and that's going to be a base on ball. So Doherty draws a walk to lead off the 6th inning, and let's see what shenanigans they have. Freddie Perrant is a decent bunter. He's a 2. And again, the only time infield comes in on a potential bunt is with a runner on third, so they will not be in. And 2 is going to be a result of 4 infield not in, and that is going to be a successful sacrifice bunt. First base to second, and over to second goes Doherty, so 4-3 on the putout, or 3-4 on the putout. And 1 down. Sox have an insurance run in scoring position. Going to column 1 though, and that is never good. Waddell is tough there, and don't even have to check. That is a swing and a miss, struck him out with a total of 4 in column 1. Jigs Donahue up, and that's what makes Waddell so dangerous. He can get that strikeout. Column 1 and 2, he's going to roll a lot of strikeouts in those columns. Column 3, where he had trouble early in the game, and that's going to be a 13, make that a total of 14. And 14 in column 3, line drive right at the third baseman, and in self-defense, Rube Ferris snags that. So 3 outs now for the White Sox. 1 walk, no hits, and 1 runner stranded. We are through 6, 1-0. Sox clinging to a slim lead as the Browns look to get to Frank Owen here. And again, Owen, he's going to go to the 4th time he faces Charlie Jones. Waddell, this is for fatigue, the 4th time he faces Freddie Perrant. So they're both in pretty good shape at this point in time. And column 3 for Owen. And that is going to be 15 total, and 15 in column 3, and that is going to be a line drive to second base. So L4 as Jake Atz makes a nifty one-handed stab of the line drive by Jimmy Williams, and that brings up the dangerous Bobby Wallace, Brownie shortstop, Hall of Famer. And into column 1 we go, and that is going to be a total of 40 in column 1, and 40 ground ball down to short. And again, infield is back, so 6-3 on the putout there. 2 quick outs for Rube Ferris, third baseman. And column 1 again, 15, make it a 20 in column 1, and 20 is going to be an infield single plus a possible error. So Blue Die is going to be down the line at third base. So we'll roll against the arm. Or I'm sorry, the defensive rating of the third baseman, which is a 3 for Lee Tannehill. And if it is higher than that, we are going to have a throwing error. Jiminy crickets. And 1, nope, going to be an infield single. And nice play at first base to save that error by Jigs Donahue. So 3rd hit of the day for the Browns, and Tom Jones is the batter. Nobody's attempted a stolen base yet, and again using the automated steal chart. So it's going to be a total of 6 in column 5 and 6 in column 5 with runner on first and bases full count on 2 as 2 balls. So we'll do that again. Would have been a walk otherwise. And going to be a fielding check, and 1 is going to be on the first baseman. So total of 4 in column 4, and that is going to be a ground out, and inning is over. So 3 unassisted on that put out as the Brownies get a hit, and we're heading into the 7th inning stretch. 1-0, Sox in the lead. So Waddell, playing for Connie Mack, he actually never drew a regular salary. Connie Mack would basically give him money as he needed it to get a sandwich, a beer. And he tried to ration it so that Waddell would not disappear for days at a time, which he was prone to do. Would let him go fishing in between starts. And one story where Waddell was late for a start and actually ended up missing it. And it turned out he had fallen asleep in his boat fishing and woke up with a rather bad sunburn and was unable to pitch that day. So that was like a day in the life for Rube Waddell. Many, many, many stories like that. And he was definitely a special character. So he's going to start out the bottom of the 7th here against Tannehill and going to column 2. And that is going to be a 3 + 1, so 4 in column 2. And that's a strikeout. Waddell bringing the heat. Billy Sullivan, the batter, and column 5, 3 for both of them. And total of 7 in column 5, and that is going to be a walk. So Waddell, he was prone to occasional bouts of wildness. Not terrible, but he'd have his moments for sure when he'd get distracted. And into the power column, and 32 is going to be the total in column 6, and pops him up to 3rd, so 2 down. As the Chicago pitcher, working on a 3-hit jam at the moment, heads back to the bench. Top of the order, Ed Hahn. And again, the power column, and that is going to be a total of 42. And 42 is going to be a solid hit to left field. So runners advance 1 base, roll 1 die against the fielder's defensive rating. If it is higher, it's a double. Runners advance 2 bases. So out in left field for the Brownies, George Stone has a 4, and it is higher, though. That's going to be a double, so runners on 2nd and 3rd. And let me just see, roll 1 die against out. If there's a runner on 1st, roll 1 die against the fielder's arm. Okay, had some technical difficulties with our 1908 film crew here. So in the dead ball era, television was not what it is now. Of course, it didn't exist, but yeah, my camera cut off, so I don't know how much of this I have missed, but we're going to jump ahead to where we're at right now. Just completed the 7th inning where Billy Sullivan for the Sox drew a 1-out walk and then ended up scoring on a double by Ed Hahn, and the Sox currently lead 2-0 through 7, and that's where we sit at the moment. So top of the 8th, and Tubby Spencer set to lead it off for the Brownies. So here we go in the power column, and that's going to be a 60 in column 6, and 60 in column 6, single to left field. So 4th hit for the Browns, and Waddell is pitching good, giving up only a couple of runs. He still has his strength or his fatigue in check. So he's going to try and bunt here. He's not a very good bunter. Infield is back, and this will be a grand total of 4 on the bunt chart, and he's going to get the job done. So Waddell, it's going to be a 3-4 on the putout. So over to second base goes Tubby Spencer, and the Brownies now, first time this game that they have had a runner reach second base. So first time in scoring position, column 3. And that is going to be a total of 15 in column 3, and 15. Line drive to second base and snagged. Back to the bag is Spencer. No chance to double him up. And Hoffman, that was a rocket shot. And self-defense for Jake Atz out there by the Sox. Charlie Jones, the batter now. And column 5, and that is going to be a total of 30. 30 in column 5, and that is a fly out center field. So once again, Frank Owen, despite the fact he is definitely not the best pitcher on the staff, only ended up starting in 14 games and it was moved to the bullpen. He gets out of that, and he holds a 2-0 lead, twirling or fashioning a 4-hitter at this point as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. And Waddell to face Patsy Doherty. And again, this Freddie Perrant, who is a second batter, that's where Waddell will reach his fatigue point. So at that point, if he gives up a base runner after pitching to Perrant, he will be going, well, he'll go to his secondary rating. So it's going to be until he gives up a base runner or faces an additional 8 batters. So here we go, Doherty. And column 5, that is going to be a total of 8 in column 5, and 8 in column 5 is going to be a walk. So Waddell may be tiring here as Freddie Perrant steps up. And Freddie Perrant is a bunter of 2. He's going to try and lay one down to get another insurance run, playing small ball. It is the dead ball error after all. Infield back 7, and that's going to be a sacrifice. And that's back to Waddell, who is normally not a very good fielder, but he takes care of that one. 1-3 on the putout. So sacrifice hit for Perrant, 1 down, runner in scoring position. Jake Atz the batter. Waddell looks in, gets a sign, and it's going to be column 5, total of 12. And 12, hit by pitch. So Waddell cranks a fastball into the ribs of Jake Atz, and he's going to go to his B grades now, as St. Louis is quickly getting a pitcher up in the pen, and it's going to be Bill Dineen, former World Series winner. So Waddell on his B column, and it's going to be a 3. And column 4, make it a 4. A 4 in column, I'm sorry. Here we just go to the fielder, so it's going to be the second baseman. So second baseman for the Browns is a 1, still a total of 4. So 4 in column 4. And infield add double play depth, and they're going to spin it. So that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play, and Waddell gets out of the inning. It's actually the first double play we've had in this replay thus far. 2 runners reach on a walk and hit batsman, 1 stranded, and a double play saves Waddell. We're heading to the 9th inning. And last chance for the Brownies is going to be George Stone, followed by Jimmy Williams and Bobby Wallace. The heart of the order. Can Frank Owen make this? And again, Owen, he has passed his fatigue point, but because he has a shutout going, he can stay fresh until he gives up a run or faces an additional 6 batters, which he has faced, I'm so sorry, 7 batters. He's faced 2 thus far. So here we go. He should be able to get through this. George Stone, the batter. And going to be a fielding result and shortstop. So that is going to be a 4 + 3, 7 in column 4, and that's a ground ball, 6-3 on the putout. So the White Sox, this is kind of how 1908 went for them. The hitless wonders who won the World Series in 1906 were not much better this year. Their projected record was, I think, 15 or 16 games less than they actually won, but pitching and defense made up for the lack of hitting for them. So column 1 and 5s for both. It's going to be a total of 40 in column 1, and 40 is a ground ball to short again. So 6-3, 2 down, and last chance for the Brownies, Bobby Wallace. And Sox pitchers looking to get their second shutout in as many games. Here comes a pitch. It'll be a fielding result. And 5 is going to be the shortstop, which is a 3 rating for Freddie Perrant. So 14 in column 4, and possible error. We only have had 1 thus far, and that's on the Browns. Perrant's error rating is a 25, so 26 or better, and that is going to be an error. So E6, and the Brownies still have life. As Hobie Ferris steps up, the third baseman hit 270, had a couple of home runs. Frank Owen looking to end this. Column 2, and that is going to be a 16 + 4, so 20 in column 2. And fly out to right field, and circling under that, two hands, is Ed Hahn. Ball game is over. So once again, the White Sox showing how formidable their pitching is. Second day in a row they've completed a shutout. This one is a 4-hitter by Frank Owen. And the Sox managed to carve out a couple of runs against the very talented southpaw, talented but erratic, Rube Waddell. So final lines in Waddell, he started rough. He gave up 5 hits in the first 3 innings. After that, just won the rest of the way. So your final line score, the Brownies, 0 runs, 4 hits, 1 error. And for the White Sox, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. And player of the game, it's got to be Frank Owen. Again, he was only a 6-7 pitcher in 1908. Had a 3.41 ERA, which is like about an ERA of 7 if you compare it to modern times. So good on him. Great outing. No runs. He ended up with 4 strikeouts and only gave out 1 free pass. So he is going to get the player of the game. And for the Rube, he ends up going 8 innings, so he'll get a complete game as well. Gives up 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. Waddell hit a batter and struck out, or actually walked, 2, 3, so walked 3 and struck out 6. So there you have it. The White Sox moved to 2-0 on this young 1908 season. Another fine effort by the Mounds Corps. 2-0 win over the Brownies and Rube Waddell. I do not know how much of this video was missed due to the power getting cut to the truck, which, you know, was a common occurrence in 1908, but hopefully not too much, only an inning or 2. We'll see when I put the video together. But thank you for watching. Game 4 will be next, and these Brownies will again be the opponent. And again, this is one of the teams that has a chance to catch them as we go through this replay. We're going to basically, every other team will win and lose the games they did in real life. The only exception will be, of course, when they play Chicago. So we'll see if we can change the outcome of the pennant race and possibly, as was requested by a viewer of the channel, end up with a Chicago and Intercity World Series in 1908, second time in 3 years, which would be cool. So thank you all, as always, for watching. Thank you for the support of the channel and also Glory Days boxing game. And a reminder, middleweight set coming up later this month for that. And I will keep you posted via video and also on the Sideline Strategy forums on Delphi as to the status on that, and also the Glory Days Boxing Facebook group. So until next time, keep rolling for the fences, and we'll see you. Have a good day.